This lesson is about evaluating expressions. This relies on our knowledge of the substitution property, which says if A equals B, then A may be replaced by B in any expression. Let's look how this works with an example. Evaluate AB squared plus C, where A equals 2, B equals 4, and C equals 7. What we'll do is we'll use the substitution property to go from left to right, replacing each variable with the value, the numerical value that it's equal to. So A is equal to 2, B is equal to 4, and C is equal to 7. In this product, and with this exponent, you'll notice that I've put each variable in parentheses. Now we'll use our order of operations that we practiced in our last lesson to simplify this expression. You'll recall parentheses first, and there's nothing to be done inside either parentheses. We'll do exponents next. 4 squared is 16. We'll multiply to get 32 plus 7, and finally we'll add to get a final answer of 39. The most important rule in algebra. We want to put parentheses around all of our negative numbers. This is really important, especially if you're intending to use a calculator to help you simplify. So let's see how it looks here. We have evaluate 3x squared minus 4x when x equals negative 2. What we'll do is we will again copy the expression from left to right, but whenever we see an x, we'll write parentheses negative 2. So here's what it looks like. 3x squared, I've replaced the x with parentheses negative 2, minus 4x, and I've replaced the x with parentheses negative 2. Again, we'll use our order of operations to simplify this expression, and we'll start with parentheses, but there's nothing to do inside these parentheses, so we'll move on to exponents. We'll do a negative 2 squared. Remember, if you're using your calculator, you need to enter that negative 2 in parentheses and then square it. We know that negative 2 times negative 2 should be positive 4. So we'll end up with 3 times 4 minus 4 times negative 2. Now we can do the multiplication. 12 minus negative 8. Where I got the negative 8 from is that this 4 times negative 2 simplifies to negative 8, and this minus comes straight down. Okay? Now we can use our keep, change, change to make that 12 plus 8 for a final answer of 20. I'm going to do the odds on this sheet, and you can complete the evens on your note sheet. So let's take a look at number 1 of the More Examples section. Again, I'm going to copy the expression from left to right, replacing A with 3 and B with negative 4. And remember, I'm going to put those in parentheses. So here we have A, which is parentheses 3. We're going to square that. Multiply that by B, which is parentheses negative 4, minus B squared. So I'm going to have a minus parentheses negative 4 squared. Again, we're going to use PEMDAS to simplify this expression. So we'll start by looking inside the parentheses, and it looks like there's nothing to do inside any of these parentheses, so we'll move on to the exponents. 3 squared is 9 times negative 4 minus, and negative 4 squared is a positive 16. Again, this negative 4 squared is positive 16. Now I'll do my multiplication, and I'll end up with negative 36 minus 16. And finally, I'll do that subtraction and end up with negative 52. Let's take a look at number 3. We have the opposite of y squared minus 3xy. This is pretty tricky. We've got some interesting negatives here. So let's start by recopying the expression, but wherever I see x, I'll replace it with parentheses negative 4. Wherever I see y, I'll replace it with parentheses 2. So starting from left to right, I have a negative, then a parentheses 2, so negative parentheses 2 squared minus 3 times x, which is parentheses negative 4, times y, which is parentheses 2. So I've simply recopied this expression. However, when I get to a variable, I replace it with the value that it's equal to, surrounded by parentheses. So let's use our order of operations to simplify. First, we're going to look inside our parentheses and see that there's nothing we need to do in there, so let's start with the exponents. Notice that the 2 is squared. It's not a negative 2 that gets squared, it is a 2 that gets squared. This is important with the order of operations. We bring down the negative sign. The 2 squared is 4. So the negative comes down. The 2 squared simplifies just to a 4. Then we bring down the rest. Minus 3 times parentheses negative 4 times parentheses 2. Now what we'll do is we'll do our multiplication. So let's see what we've got here. We've got a minus sign that comes down, a 3 times negative 4, which is equal to negative 12. Okay, and now we have one more multiplication over here. We have a negative 12 times 2. So let's see what we've got here. Negative 12 times 2 is negative 24. Okay, and again, this minus sign just keeps coming down with it. Okay, and next, we'll see that we use our keep, change, change to make this positive. So this is a negative 4 plus 28. Our final answer here is 24. The final example that I'm going to do on this page is number 5. Actually, I think I'm going to do one more after this. I'm going to do number 5 and then number 7. So what we're going to do here is remember that what we want to do is plug in parentheses 3 where we see A and parentheses 4 where we see B, particularly where we see these exponents. However, you'll notice on the bottom, when I plug it in, I can simply do 3 minus 4. No need for extra parentheses there. So I'm going to plug in 3 for A, so I have the 3 squared plus a 4 squared. I don't necessarily need the parentheses since I don't have any negatives, but it's not a bad idea to keep them. So I'll do my exponents first, and you'll recall from our last lesson on order of operations that we're going to simplify the top and the bottom separately and then divide the two resulting answers. So up top, when we simplify our exponents, we get a 9 plus 16. 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. We'll do the addition and the subtraction now, and we'll get 25 on the top and negative 1 in the denominator. Finally, when we do that division, we'll end up with negative 25 for our answer. Okay, I have one more example. Number 7. What we'll do here is we'll rewrite the expression plugging in a 2 for x, a negative 2 for y, and a negative 3 for z. This one's pretty tricky. So we're going to make sure we definitely put our negative numbers in parentheses, and I might even put my positives in parentheses too. So let's see what we've got here. A lot of 2's in here. We've got a 2 and a negative 2. So I'm going to say x squared, so I'll get 2 squared minus 2 times the quantity of x minus y. So I'll say minus 2 times the quantity of x, which is 2, minus y, which is negative 2. So x minus y. And then I subtract z cubed. So I'll say minus z cubed, which is negative 3 cubed. Remember to put your negative values in parentheses. Again, that's going to be really critical if you're using a calculator. Okay, so now we're going to start with parentheses. There's nothing to do inside these parentheses. There's nothing to do inside these parentheses. However, we do have something to do inside these parentheses. We need to consider 2 minus negative 2. That simplifies to 4. So we'll say 2 minus negative 2 simplifies to a 4. Now we'll look at this and say, all right, we've done our parentheses. It's time to handle our exponents. So 2 squared is 4. Negative 3 to the third is negative 3 times negative 3. That's positive 9. Positive 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. So let's take a look at this. I've got 4. For some reason I have the same step twice, but that's okay. I've got a 4 here from our 2 squared, and our negative 3 to the third is our negative 27. So you'll see we've simplified our two exponent expressions. Now we'll handle our multiplication, which is negative 2 times 4, which gives us negative 8. And I see a keep, change, change. I simplified that to a positive, plus 27. That's like a minus negative. It's almost like multiplying by negative 1, which is why I did it in the multiplication step. And finally, we'll add and subtract left to right. So we'll handle our multiplication, division, then our addition and subtraction. So although this subtraction and addition are subtraction first, addition there, addition and subtraction are the same level of precedence in the order of operations. So if you have addition and subtraction in the same expression, you'll go left to right. So we'll do the 4 minus 8 first. There you go here. Yeah. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. And finally, negative 4 plus 27 is 23. This concludes this portion of our lesson. I'd like you to please complete the even expressions on your note sheet. Thanks for watching.